So the question is, best diet for gut to improve your health. Okay, so oftentimes there's someone coming in with gut issues, whether it's bloating, pain, nausea, vomiting, you name it. They're having some kind of gut issue. What's the best diet? Where's the first place they can start to try and improve their health and start feeling better and get rid of the symptoms? Well, I'm going to go through 3 diets, and I'm going to kind of rank them in order. You should start here, and then this one, and I'll give examples of what they help with and why they help and those kinds of things. But before I jump into that, I just want you to know, when it comes to these diets, it's not like you have to be on this diet forever for the rest of your life. You know, sometimes when you're going on a diet to lose weight, they tell you, you know, be on this diet or follow these guidelines for the rest of your life type of thing, and then you crash and you have to start on another diet or restart on a diet or whatever. And that's not what we're talking about tonight. But these diets, they're mainly what we call elimination diets. So you start eliminating things, eating better for 2 to 3 weeks, okay? And you will know if the diet is helping you at about 2 to 3 weeks, because your symptoms will start to improve. They may not be 100% better, but you're seeing improvement. That's a good sign that, hey, that diet is working for you. Give it some more time. Patience is key with this stuff. You don't want to just jump the gun and be like, yeah, it's helped me, but I still have these issues, so I'm done. If you see an improvement, that's a good sign. It may take months for you to get 100% improved or get to the level that you're looking for with the goals that you're set. So if you see an improvement after 2 to 3 weeks, continue on with the diet for months, okay? If you're not seeing any improvement after 2 to 3 weeks, or you're getting worse, stop that diet right away. It's not the answer for you. It's not the answer you're seeking. Try one of these other ones that I'll share with you. Also, reintroduce foods. So let's say you start feeling better, you start feeling a lot better after weeks, months. What you want to do, because a lot of these diets, they restrict certain foods that people love, like dairy, okay? So everyone loves ice cream, right? Well, let's restrict ice cream for a while. You're starting to feel better, and you go, hey, I want ice cream because I don't want to necessarily be without ice cream for the rest of my life. So you can start introducing things slowly, and I'd start with one at a time, like ice cream, a certain food group, and introduce it slowly, and then see how your body responds to it. If it has a negative reaction, the next day, or quicker, or maybe it takes a couple days before you have a reaction, but keep note of it. Keep a diary if you need to, or note, hey, it's Saturday night, I'm having ice cream again. So check it over the next couple days, see how your body's responding to that ice cream. If you respond negatively to the food that you're reintroducing, it may be too early, or it may be that your body just is never going to respond very well to that. You have something called what we call an intolerance, and you just don't tolerate that food very well. You just don't tolerate that food very well. So at that point, it may be something that you do only every so often, just because your body's not going to tolerate it very well, and then it causes a reaction. So that's something you figure out as you reintroduce the food slowly. But you may realize after you kind of repair the gut, heal the gut, you can start reintroducing these foods that you thought were really bad and that were causing issues before, and now they're not, because the gut works as a barrier, and if that barrier is repaired, it keeps the problem from getting worse. So sometimes just the time and having the right diet and everything else that you may do will help heal that gut, and then you can reintroduce and still eat and enjoy those foods that you were eating before. So that being said, first diet, paleo diet, or a paleo-like diet. So a paleo diet, the basic premise is eating like a caveman, eating like our ancestors did way before we had all this processed food and everything else. And why it's so nice is because, for the most part, you're just getting rid of junk and processed foods, and you're eating more organic foods. So for the most part, avoid the processed foods and sugar, just all together, okay? You don't need that garbage anyways. We were taught in school, you go into a garbage store. Sorry, it's been a long day. You go into the grocery store. If you shop at the outsides of the grocery store and you stay away from the middle, then you're getting more of the organic, healthy foods. Once you go into the middle, you're getting all the processed, bagged, canned, things that have a lot of chemicals and preservatives put into them. They're not good for you. So stay out of the middle of the grocery stores. Also, you want to limit, okay, limit's the key word, limit grains, legumes, nuts, those kinds of things, just because they may cause a reaction in your gut. They may cause problems. So you just want to limit those when you're on that paleo type diet. And then you want to focus on more of the lean meats, healthy meats, fish, white matter, not white matter, but white meat, chicken, turkey, those kinds of things. You want to focus on veggies. You want to keep fruits to a minimum, but good good fats, so avocado, coconut oil, those kinds of things. Those are all, what our ancestors ate before. You limit the fruits because fruits were seasonal for our ancestors, but veggies, load up on the veggies, load up on the healthy fats, the good meats, and that's pretty much it with the paleo diet. That's where I would start. The second one you could think about is a low FODMAP diet. So what that refers to is when you ingest food, and this is for people with certain conditions like a lot of gas, a lot of bloating, a lot of stomach pain, or those kinds of symptoms, constipation, diarrhea. Basically, what it's doing is when you take on certain foods, your bacteria consume the foods, break them down, and what you want to do is you want to restrict those foods because maybe you have a condition, what we call SIBO, which is basically your bacteria. You have good and bad bacteria, and the bad bacteria can overrun the prison, and you have more of the bad bacteria than the good bacteria, so your good bacteria are losing the battle, the bad are predominant, and if they take over and they're consuming all this food that you're bringing in, then it's going to cause them to release a lot of gas, and that's where you get the bloating, the pain, constipation, those kinds of things. So you want to limit foods that are high in prebiotics, because that's what the bacteria break down, and that's basically in a lot of carbohydrates. And as far as guidelines for these, I didn't spend time trying to draw stuff up or handouts or anything like that. You can look up Paleo Diet. You can find guides online. You can look at low FODMAP diet, find guides online. But that's basic premise behind it. If you're having a lot of gas, a lot of bloating, you may start paleo, but you may want to introduce low FODMAP type foods because there is a difference, and see if that helps out your symptoms as well. The last diet we wanted to go over tonight was intermittent fasting. Okay, so this has got a lot of traction. It's really popular nowadays. When it comes to something like this, what we've noticed in the functional medicine world is some people, they get better, eating typical bodybuilder diets. So eat less frequently and then have huge meals, or maybe you eat more frequently, smaller meals. Sometimes it just depends on the person, and you may get better doing either or of those. But where intermittent fasting comes in is for a period of time you're not eating or drinking anything like sugars or juice, soda, anything like that, milk, anything that has any kind of properties to it. So you basically stick to water. And the basic premise behind it is you're skipping a meal. So there's not a ton of research showing long-term benefits, or we're unsure if you're doing a lot of intermittent fasting, if it might cause problems years down the road, but it shows a lot of promise and a lot of short-term benefits, so it may be helpful for you. And the reason why that is because, like I said, you're skipping a meal. So if you go hours without that meal and you're doing these other things right, that's why I have this third on the list. So you're doing paleo, you're eating better, you're doing things that you're supposed to. It's going to help heal the gut. And by skipping a meal, it's less food that's coming in, bombarding the gut, so your gut has more time to heal up. So that's why intermittent fasting might help. And there's a ton of research behind it, helping with this and that. That's not really the point. The point is it can help because it allows everything to heal. So it's like if you went out and you sprained your ankle, you want to rest it to help things heal quicker. Okay, you're going to have inflammation or other things going on that are just natural. Well, if there's problems with your gut, there's going to be inflammation and problems going on. So if you give it time to heal and you're not constantly bringing in food, especially garbage food, it's going to help that heal up and you're going to feel better. When it comes to intermittent fasting, I have to caution from tea, coffee, those kinds of things, because sometimes you get those questions, because usually you skip breakfast in the morning and you'll have coffee or something like that. You may want to stick away from them just because people can have reactions to coffee, not so much tea, but coffee. And then oftentimes with these drinks, you're putting in other components, whether it's sugar or sweetener or something along those lines. Then you're not truly fasting. You're bringing in calories and other micronutrients. So typically lean away from those unless you drink coffee black and you don't have any kind of response to it, whether that's irritation or intolerance. And then tea is typically better. You can probably get away with tea if you have it natural and you don't add a bunch of crap to it. So that's really it for the diets. To kind of review, the question for tonight was the best diet for your gut to improve your health. I recommend starting with paleo or a paleo-like diet, okay, which means getting rid of the garbage, eating more natural, organic. From there, you can try a low FODMAP diet, okay? If the paleo isn't quite working or you're motivated and you want to do some other things, low FODMAP type foods will help keep bacteria from breaking down, the food and creating a lot of gas. So if you're having a lot of gas, pain, constipation, those kinds of problems, those kinds of symptoms, low Fodmap diet would definitely be very beneficial. And then third, you can try intermittent fasting really after you try these other ones, because that's going to help heal the gut. And then by skipping a meal, you give your gut more time to rest and heal up. And then, rule of thumb, if you're feeling better over a couple of weeks, keep going forward with the diet. It may take months, but ultimately that's a good sign that the diet's helping. If after 2 to 3 weeks you don't feel any better, you feel worse, that diet's not helping, stop it immediately. Try a different diet, or work with somebody like myself who knows what we're doing and can get you some more help, because there may be something else going on. So that's where I would start. That's what I'd focus on when it comes to diets and using diets to help heal your gut.